but still we are happy to see you over here. And this is the first time EGA is conducting such a webinar. You know what is the speciality of this webinar? We are sitting on two sides of the planet and two different time zones in two different weather conditions, and still we are listening to the wonderful part of the knowledge which Anupama doctor is going to share with us. Thank you, doctor. And let me have Dr. Tesni here to brief us about Dr. Anupama. Tesni doctor, please.
Yeah. Good evening, doctors. I am welcoming our distinguished speaker, Dr. Anupama, on behalf of EGA, Emirates Ayurveda Graduates Association. We are extremely honored to have our Dr. Anupama to share her knowledge on the topic guidelines to write and publish the Ayurveda case reports. She is graduated from the SDM Ayurveda College, Udupi, and since 2004, she is working for the Southern California University of Health Sciences as the program director and the professor of Ayurvedic medicine. And her diverse educational background as the yoga teacher, acupuncturist, and the PhD in public health has allowed her to play an integral part in growing the Ayurveda community globally. We would like to congratulate her for her excellence and for her awards like the Sheikh Zayed Award 2020, the Suryaprabha Award, and receiving the American Public Health Service Award for 2020 for the outstanding leadership, dedication to integrate the traditional and complementary health sciences. And she was an integral part in the WHO's finalization in the benchmark of Ayurveda. And now, presently, Dr. Anu is serving as a president of Atreya Herbs Company, and vice president of Atreya Integrative Health Center. She serves as a research working group of Academy in the Collaborative for Integrative Health, and the member of NAMA, member of California Association for Ayurveda Education, and currently she is working as the co-PI for NIH Wonder Research Study. And basically she is a rare combination of internationally acclaimed Ayurvedic expert, teacher, author, speaker, dancer, choreographer, and let her vast experience in the research guide us in the line of this Ayurveda research and the guidelines to write our Ayurveda case reports. Thank you and welcome Dr. Anupama on board to share us her knowledge. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sharifa, for the kind introduction. It's a great honor for me to be here, sharing whatever knowledge I have about the case report writing and publication. And so how it's already 5 o'clock there, right? It's 5. Okay.
4, doctor.
Oh, sorry, 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock here. There is a time difference. Time difference here. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So how is the COVID situation there?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So we'll start the presentation now then. I know we'll take the question and answer session at the end, right? I'll share my screen now. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. It's clear.
Okay.
Yes, doctor, we can see your screen. Just make it maximized.
Okay. How is now?
Yes, fine. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the topic for today's guideline for writing and publishing an Ayurvedic case report. It's a different topic so far what you have heard, I believe. So I'll try to make it interesting as much as possible. So I'm just curious, you can write it in a chat. How many of you are interested in writing the case report and publishing it? How many of you really want to do this? You can write in the chat box. I'm curious to know before I start, how many of you are really passionate and then want to publish some case report? Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to explain today is very like simplify the steps involved in the publication of the case report so that we all can participate in writing and publishing it. That's my main intention actually. So let's see why we need a publication in Ayurveda. So history shows that publication played a major role for any science to grow and accepted by public. For any policy level change and global acceptance of Ayurveda, evidence played a major role. So that's where research does matter. We can see that like last time when the COVID situation happened, we could not immediately implement Ayurveda into the mainstream of practice because lack of research on that topic, right? So publication play a major role when we want to make any policy level changes. We do need the evidence actually. So we have a long way to go. If you look at the literature in PubMed, PubMed is a free search engine, which I'm going to talk about a little more after some time. If you type Ayurveda on the search bar, you will see only 5,739 articles published. Whereas if you write traditional Chinese medicine, there is 77,000 plus articles are published on that particular topic. And Panchakarma, if you type, it's only 128. And acupuncture, about 32,000 articles published already. So you can see here, there are a long way to go for us, like huge difference from 5,000 plus to 77,000. So I just did the screenshot and to show like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine are almost a similar history, right? It's almost a similar time it's evolved, and it is having the similar concept, very similar concept, even both the science are like traditional wisdom actually existing since thousands of years. But the Chinese medicine has done a lot of research in the field, and so they have implemented the Chinese medicine into the mainstream of practice in a different country. Even in US, so many different countries, Chinese medicine is already a licensed healthcare practice. So the evidence what they have done played a major role for this implementation of this modality into the as an official practice or licensed healthcare practice in different countries. So what may be the reason? Maybe one of the reason may be the limited funding what we have for the research, our limited awareness of how to publish and importance of publication. There are only very limited training actually on scientific writing during our Ayurvedic education. Actually, in fact, when I finished the Ayurveda BAMS degree, I didn't know anything about the research, how to write it, what are the different type of publication, in-depth understanding of the different research design. There was literally zero knowledge for me when I graduated from Ayurvedic education. But later, went to different, when I did the PhD and also working at SCU, I slowly learned actually what, as an Ayurvedic practitioner, what we can do in the evidence-based education as well as evidence-based practice. Look at the funding what we have. China is spending about $553 billion for the research, whereas US also 511. But India, we are only spending 66.5 billion. And that too, how much money is just coming to Ayurveda, we don't know at this point, right? So we have very limited funding actually. That may be the another reason we don't have that much research published on Ayurvedic medicine. So, but we have a good news here. That means you can be author of a research paper, especially for a case report study. You don't have to be a researcher to publish a case report. If you have a successfully treated case and if it is documented properly, you can write a case report and publish it. Your contribution will be valuable for our profession. This will help to develop evidence-based practice in Ayurveda. If you look at current trend in health science or medicine, or even in the various, not only at in the medical area, we can see that evidence-based education and evidence-based practice in an emerging field. And our Ayurveda can definitely fit into that model also, even though Ayurveda is the traditional wisdom of science, thousands of years old science, time-tested medicine, holistic science, but it does fit into the evidence-based approach too. In fact, if you look at most of the conventional medicine research, what they are publishing, some of the concept, like for example, epigenetics concept, and also the lifestyle medicine. There are a lot of research published by Dean Ornish. He made a big movement about the lifestyle medicine and preventative care. And majority of these research, I feel like it's a revalidation of the Ayurvedic concept. Right? We all know that Ayurveda built on the lifestyle practices, right? We value on the first the Ruducharya, Dinacharya concept, that all actually part of the lifestyle. And it's a big movement here. Lifestyle play a major role in prevention of the different type of disease, and even the gene expression. Right, when we are in the form of a womb, in our mother's womb itself, in the form of fetus in the mother's womb itself, we have the concept of prakriti, how it is, what type of food mom and dad has consumed play a major role in the formation of the constitution in the kid. And that is somewhat kind of epigenetic concept also is explaining, right? So, and sleep as a medicine, even the nutrogenomics concept, everything actually, most of the thing what the scientific world is now coming up, which is already mentioned in Ayurveda. And being an Ayurvedic practitioner or doctors, it's our responsibility to showcase that. We have to come up forward, we have to talk to our public, we have to educate our public the power and the magnificent energy of this science. It's not only just one single concept what we use when we heal the patient, right? It's a combination. We recommend the Patya Apatya. It's complete approach of the body, mind, and spirit. It's a holistic approach. And that's where now in general the whole world is looking into. Have a new era of the healing where we value the individual, the patient as a center, patient-centered care. And that too, which is thousands of years back Ayurveda mentioned. And until and unless we Ayurvedic practitioners come forward and talk about it, public is not going to know about that. Right? So the research does play a major role in this. Whenever we have an evidence for something, then the modern world, the way the modern world is building upon, they want for everything why it is, how it is. Especially the new generation is very much interested into that. Even though Ayurveda is a time-tested medicine, having this type of research, it will add more value to the science, right? And it will bring the medical education in the community should be actually aware of importance of the writing and publication of this type of research study. And being an Ayurvedic practitioner, I feel like we all have to be very much proud about it. What we got this great opportunity to learn Ayurvedic medicine. And it's our responsibility to nourish and bring up this profession, right? Everybody have to play a role here. So even as a clinician, we can play a major role, not just an educator, not just a researcher. Every individual is needed for Ayurvedic practice, like whoever learned Ayurvedic medicine, how to take an active role to bring this science forward. So recently, the number of journals publishing Ayurveda is getting increased. There are more than 375 journals in PubMed, published at least 2 or more papers on Ayurveda. So that's a good news for us. Like, we have the opportunity, there are journals available, so we can publish it. Only thing is we have to start initiating this work, right? So let's see what all are the steps involved. Okay, I'll try to make it a simplified version as much as possible so that we all can participate in this. So the first and foremost thing is identify the topic. And I will go over each of the steps a little more in detail as we go forward. So identify the topic, then do the literature review, then identify the journal, and write the manuscript. Okay. So once we write this, we will send it to the journal editor, and the journal editor usually send the article for the peer review, and reviewers read the article and provide the feedback, either reject or revise it and submit back again, and then after that accept. So once the article meets the standard, it will be published in the journal. So these are the major steps in a bigger view, actually. Major steps involved. We will go over each of them a little more in detail. So what exactly is the case report mean? So a case report is a method of descriptive research that document a practitioner's experience, thoughts, or observation related to the care of a single patient. And I'm sure you all are clinicians, you all are seeing hundreds of cases in every month, right? So you all have a successful case in your practice. So a case report is a detailed report of the symptoms, signs, diagnosis, treatment, and follow-up of an individual patient. A case report combines the observation from a group of similar patients. So the goal of this case report is to describe and discuss a case, not to prove the effectiveness. That's the important part here. We are not saying that by writing a case report, a specific method or specific treatment modalities explained in Ayurveda is very effective in treating X disease. That kind of statement we cannot make it with the case report. So it's basically in the case report, we are describing or discussing a specific case treated with a specific treatment. So usually what we see, case report feature new disease or condition, or rare or whichever like sparsely reported condition, unusual presentation of a common condition, or new or unique treatment, unexpected complication during treatment, or unexpected outcome for one condition when treating for another condition. So these are in general, these are the area where we see mostly the case report is written on. So, if you look at the hierarchy of the study design, research study design, you can see that case report is at the bottom, right? It's not that much higher evidence. Systematic review, meta-analysis are only at the top level, but case report is at the bottom part. So we can see that based on this, maybe case reports are really weak evidence. Do they really matter? Is that something very important? I get this, even I thought during the early part of my career, okay, case report is staying here. So if I write case report, does that really matter? Is it going to make some bigger evidence for the current research world? But it is very important. It allows other Ayurvedic practitioners to benefit from your experience because you are writing about the unique case or really, which is not already existing in the literature, right? You are showcasing a specific type of evidence. It creates a body of knowledge that other healthcare professionals can access it. Once you write the case report and publish it, maybe in a Western MD, conventional medicine doctor, MD doctor may find it more interesting, and he might have never heard about, there is a Kadipasti treatment, or there is Shirodhara treatment, or there are certain herbal combinations very helpful for treating an autoimmune condition, right? So that's for a yoga therapist, nurse practitioner, all people from other healthcare professionals may get to know about that. And it helps to communicate experience encounter in a clinical practice, and it helps to point the way to the further research. For example, if there is no research is done on that particular topic, so having this case report really helps actually to develop a bigger research trial. Because whenever you go for a bigger funding to do a bigger trial, larger trial, they always ask for evidence. How do you know that this is effective? So during that time, even single case report play a major role if there is nothing is there on that topic, right? So this does play a major role here. So, but it does have a limitation, because patients are managed in non-controlled environment. We cannot have the very much controlled environment when we treat a single patient, right? We don't know what type of food that patient is taking, even if we are saying it, okay? So the complete controlled environment may be sometimes challenging, right? And cannot be generalized beyond the context of the case to a larger population of patients. For example, if you treated a 35-year-old female patient with the osteoarthritis patient with Ayurvedic herbs, you cannot say that this Ayurvedic herb is very effective or helpful for treating all the patients with osteoarthritis, right? Because we have only treated a single patient with that particular age category, and that to female. So completely generalizing the particular modality may be difficult based on the case report. And it can be maybe biased by the reporter and author, because usually the changes will be measured before the treatment, during the treatment, and after the treatment. And a third person is what usually measure the changes. But in the case report, as a clinician, we are the only one who is going to measure the changes, and that may cause some bias. So it's not just in general, not only in Ayurveda, in all the other modalities, this limitation is always there. So everybody understand that there is a limitation for the case report. So there are different types of case report: education case report, diagnostic case report, and treatment or management case report. But for the sake of time, we are only talking about actually clinical treatment or management type of case report. So what is the main thing we have to pay attention here? If you want the first and foremost here, choosing your case. The first key to success is to choose your case wisely. So as I talk now, maybe you can just think about what is the case you want to write on. You all have seen so many different clinical cases, right? You might have seen arthritis patient, or osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe autoimmune condition, or stress, or insomnia, and where you have used specific Ayurvedic modality and you saw really great result, which you didn't even expect, you didn't even know it. Oh, it's really working good. Identify that type of case. Write it down now in your page. Take a paper and then write it down. Which one you really like it. Okay, that's important. First important step. What I would like to see at the end of this presentation, at least even 1 or 2 people start writing the case report. That itself makes me very happy. It is not at all a tedious task. Everybody can do it. If you are a clinician, if you have a really good case, successful case, and if you have all the documentation, even if you don't have now, moving forward, you start to do it. Like you have seen in your practice, okay, I usually have a very good success with the treating with the X medicine for X condition. You may have that, right? Everybody have it. So maybe start document. I will guide you through what all are the steps you need to have to publish it. You all want to publish the paper, right? You all want to be an author, right? We all like to write something. And for this specific case report, you don't have to be a researcher to write this. Okay? So we will go step by step. Now take a paper and write down what type of case or what clinical case you would like to publish it. Okay? Good. So now, how do you choose it? It's interesting to other clinician, complete, and you should have enough information about that case. So in your patient chart, maybe most of you are using electronic health record or the chart. Yeah, I think if you can chat also, it will be good so that I can understand whether you are following it. It can be a little more interactive here. So if you don't mind, you can write some of these things in the chat box. So once you find the case, and then make sure that you have enough information, you have collected all the information when you are providing the treatment, electronic record. Very good. Okay. So then you have to make sure clear progress notes are available and consistent outcome measures are used. And I will explain what is the outcome measures mean. Okay. And not previously represented in the literature. You don't want to write a case which is already a lot of publication is there, because then you're not adding any new evidence to the literature. But I don't think for Ayurveda we will have that much challenge, because we don't have that many publication on various type of topics. So these challenges we won't be having there. Okay. Whereas in chiropractic care, I can see there are so many, hundreds of articles published on low back pain and spinal manipulation. So then we have to select something very unique. Then only that case will add to the more value to the existing literature. So next one. So now you identify the topic. You make sure that you have all the information about that particular case. I just take an example so that we will follow. So for Ayurvedic use of Ayurvedic treatment, okay, it can be all the combination: diet, lifestyle, herbs, and then maybe Kadipasti treatment for lower back pain. So use of Ayurveda or role of Ayurveda for management of lower back pain. That's our topic. That you might have treated a case with lower back pain with some Ayurvedic herbs. So now what we have to do, the next step, literature review. We have to do a search on literature. And this specific topic I can talk about like almost 8 hours, the literature, how to do the literature review, how to conduct the literature search. But here we are not doing like really an extensive type of research. So we can go with the simple basic literature review. So why do we have to do the literature review? It's tell you what you need to know to design your study. It's tell you what you need to know to understand and interpret your study result and outcome. It helps you to develop an unbiased, objective understanding of your topic. So you should perform the literature review before you start writing the case. So for example, for lower back pain, you will do a search over the internet. Nowadays you don't have to go to the library for all the journals. Most of the journal you get it in a PDF format. So next slide I'm going to explain how do you do the literature. So these are the search you all know maybe Google Scholar, right? And there is another one, PubMed. PubMed also free search engine, but sometimes you don't get the full text article. But majority of the Ayurvedic article, I can see that through the PubMed it is available full text, or you can contact the journal, or if you have any university or any public library, they may be able to guide you through it. So it's just do the search on Google Scholar. Google Scholar is free too, right? So you can write Ayurveda and lower back pain or Ayurveda and Kadishula. You can play around with the words and then see what all are the articles comes up and read through it. You need to find out what they have done in the study, how they have done the study, how many days of treatment they have given, what type of measurement they have used, and how did they measure the changes, etc. Okay. So then there is another important thing here. Majority of us fail to have this is outcome measures. We cannot just outcome measure is it's all possible measurement of result that may stem from exposure to a causal factor or from preventative or therapeutic intervention. So it actually based in the summary, it measured the changes. So you gave the Kaishora Guglu, and before, when a patient came at the baseline, first day in your clinic for the lower back pain, you measure some instrument, you use some instrument or some questionnaire here. And then you measure the pain, or you understand about the pain, and then you give Kaishora Guglu for 7 days, and you use the same instrument to measure the pain and see the difference in the pain. Or if you are doing the blood work, you measure the first day, the blood work result, and after X amount of time taking Ayurvedic medicine, you measure the changes again. So that instrument, like here the blood work will be baseline, and after 15 days or after 30 days of medication, whatever you use. So that instrument is considered outcome measure. So all identified measurements of the changes in health status arising as a consequence of handling of the health problem. So this is very important here. Not a patient says, I'm feeling better. That won't be enough for a publication. They want to look at the journal want to know that what kind of measurement you have used. For example, subjective self-perceived pain is one. Then any kind of, there are a lot of articles or the online is available, physical disability measuring survey questionnaire, psychological well-being measuring questionnaire, and depression, stress, quality of life. This is all subjective kind of a measurement. Whereas objective, you can use the X-ray or MRI, body mass index, weight, blood pressure, white blood cell count, etc. These are a few examples here. So you can use this baseline in between at the end of the treatment and after completing the treatment, after 1 month or 2 months, depending on how you want to measure it. So these are very important part actually. If we use this and measure the changes, then it is more valid. So one important thing here, we have to So as I said, it can be qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative here is like what the patient is conveying the message. For example, I have not been able to sleep throughout the night in years. After taking the medicine, my sleep is better. So that is patient's own words and experience after taking the medicine. Quantitative, like in the mesh numbers, lab result, height, pain level in visual analog scale, quality of life on a SF36 scale. And don't worry about this all VAS, SF30. This is already existing measurement. If you do a Google search, you will be able to find out how to use these scales. Okay. So you don't have to find a measurement and all here. You will be all, it's already existing, a validated measurement. So which outcome measures should be used? Like for example, if you have a low back pain patient or osteoarthritis patient, you don't know what type of instrument I should use to measure these changes. So don't get discouraged at that point. The easiest step is do a research on it in the Google. You will be able to find, you may be able to find a lot of articles published on the conventional medicine practice on low back pain or headache or insomnia, and see what type of instrument they have used. So that is another, because Ayurveda, we don't have that much study done. So you may won't be able to find the article published in Ayurveda, but you may be able to find in conventional medicine, Chinese medicine, etc., with a similar condition. So you can use those scales, because if it is a peer-reviewed journal, if it is a research journal publishing, always they will be using validated scale. So reliability, validity is very important when we decide which type of outcome measures to be used. Okay. Now, so that's the same thing which I mentioned. So now you find the topic, you decide the topic, you did a literature search, you kind of got an idea or information about that particular condition, how others have done research on that particular topic, or how others have published that type of disease, and then if you won't find anything, don't worry, you can still do something about that particular topic. Okay, you can look at the other healthcare profession, what they have done. Okay, so that will give you an information like what is this topic and how you should move forward. Now you need to determine, where do you want to publish it? Do you want to publish this in an Ayurvedic journal, or do you want to publish this in an integrative medicine journal or conventional medicine journal, etc.? Because depending on that, depending on the audience, how you are going to write the manuscript also vary. Because if you are publishing in an Ayurvedic journal, you don't have to write in detail about what is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, about the disease and all, not too much detail, because the audience already know this concept. This will be very fun, basic for them, right? But if you are publishing in an integrative medicine journal, the audience won't be knowing all the concept about dosha, dadus, etc. So you may have to walk the reader through, like, step by step. That's why before even writing, you have to determine which journal are you going to publish. And there are a lot of journal actually, which, as I said earlier, 300 plus journals are ready to publish Ayurvedic case report. Even not everyone is going to publish that case report, but we do have a lot of opportunity here. And I recently heard there are one Ayurvedic journal is going to come just only publishing 4 case report. Okay, so let's look at what's the next one. So choose your journal before you start writing. So this is very important, because all the journals have the different requirements also. Once you identify the audience, but it also have some journals will allow you to write only 1,000 words. Some journal will allow up to 3,000 words. And the number of reference also, what you can list. Some journal only limit for case report 5, up to 5. Some journal doesn't have any limitation. So the section of the manuscript may differ, and also based on the journal instruction. That's why before you even start writing, understand decide the journal and understand what are the requirements. How are we doing so far? Good?
So far it is good, doctor.
Okay.
Continue.
I know the topic is can be a little dry here, but we'll see. let's see how many after the session, how many of you are really interested and going to publish the case report. So
Okay.
hanging there. So now access once identify the journal, where you have to look for is access the instruction for authors. That's the section where you get the detailed information about what are the criteria, and read that section thoroughly. So then how to set up yourself for a successful writing a case report? Here is the main thing happening. So you need to make sure that all the client data has been de-identified. Sometimes I see this, like when I go to the conference and all, some practitioner or just tell with the patient name, where they are living, which office they are working. That is an unethical practice. If that is happening in US and all, sometimes patients can sue the practitioner. It's very important that we de-identify. We should not reveal any identifying information about the patient, even during the conference presentation as well as the publication, unless if you receive the permission from the patient. That's a different story. But even after receiving the permission from the patient for case report publication, we don't usually publish any identifying information about the patient. And identify whether you may have any competing interest also. So you don't want to get biased there. Then the third important thing is you have to get the permission from the patient. So confirm that the client provide the informed consent for the publication of the case report. So that is even most of the journal has a sample actually, what kind of document you can get signed from the patient. And most of the journal won't accept, I think almost 100%, I think nowadays, they won't accept for publication if you don't have the signed consent from the patient. So that's an important step here. Then, as I explained earlier, use consistent outcome measures. So for example, if you're measuring the changes with certain blood work, use the same blood work report, similar report, then after 15 days or 30 days. Or if you are using a certain type of measurement scale, VAS scale, visual analog scale, to measure the pain, use the same thing after 15 days and 30 days to measure this. So you cannot change baseline one instrument, after 15 days another instrument for measuring the pain, and the end of the treatment another instrument for measuring this pain. That will be difficult. Okay, so use the same consistent outcome measure and keep good progress report. Whatever you give to the patient, whatever the patient is doing during your treatment, make a record of it. And keep up-to-date contact information on patient, and then make sure you read the literature. Okay, so let's go to the next step, writing case report. So what all are the different things we need to have? We need to have a title, abstract, keywords. This is easy, I will explain that later. Introduction, objective, patient information, and result, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, reference, and if there is any table and figure. This is it. These are the different heading for the case report. Now you're going to fill the information in each section. So the first one is introduction. So what needs to be there in introduction? So prior to writing the introduction, be sure to determine your target audience. This will affect your introduction and how you describe the treatment and result. Like a case report about the treatment of diabetes submitted to the Journal of Alternative Medicine versus an Ayurvedic journal, that is Ayu, as I said earlier. So if you are submitting this to an Ayurvedic journal, you don't have to write so much detail about introduction about Ayurvedic medicine. But if it is another integrative medicine journal, you may have to write more. So that's what identifying the journal may change, after determining the journal, which one you want to use, that influence how in-depth information you need to give under the introduction. So this is an important section. What all are the information you will include here? It's background information and overview of the previous studies about that particular topic. So briefly summarize the background, context, and epidemiological information of this case report, particularly specifying Ayurvedic context and any relevant for collaboration with the other system of medicine. So this should include information about the condition being treated in both Western and Ayurvedic perspective also. You can add that. If you are talking about lower back pain, so what is lower back pain? How many people are suffering with the lower back pain? How much money we are spending on lower back pain? And what is happening in other healthcare modalities for treatment of lower back pain? So gap in the previous research and significance of the topic. Why your topic is special? Because there is no article published in Ayurvedic medicine using the Ayurvedic medicine and treatment of lower back pain. So our objective of the study is to use, evaluate, or to discuss using Ayurvedic herbs in the management of lower back pain. That is it, the introduction section. So make sure do not include any result or data from that specific case report on the introduction section. Do not use non-peer-reviewed article, such as article from the magazine or newspapers. Do not include your opinion. It's just a fact, actually. What is out there about that particular topic with the reference. That's what we need to use it. So this is an example here. Let's just read through it. I didn't write, kept full introduction because it will take a lot of space, but just an example. Lower back pain is then often considered as one of the most significant healthcare challenges affecting the modern society. In United States, among the adult under age of 65, lower back pain is the most common cause of chronic or permanent impairment. Chronic lower back pain can also lead to reduced quality of life. Lower back pain also imposes a tremendous financial burden on society. In US, indirect costs due to lower back pain have been reported to range from 84.1 to 624.8 billion. Ayurveda is a traditional healing system which over 5,000 years history. Literature shows that Ayurvedic protocols are frequently used to treat the patients with various musculoskeletal conditions causing chronic pain. Ayurvedic pain management approach include diet, lifestyle recommendation, herbs, various body work therapies, and yoga. It's just brief information or introductory statement about the lower back pain. Okay. So usually in a case report, up to maybe if the article allow you to use up to 1,500 words, you can have the introduction about 250 to 300 words. So then at the end of the introduction, you have to write the objective. What exactly you are going to explain in this case report. So objective may be to describe your treatment protocol, treatment outcome for Ayurvedic practitioner or to the healthcare provider. For example, to describe the role of Ayurvedic medicine for management of lower back pain. So here it is more specific. Okay, so that's how you end the introduction with the objective statement. Now, as I said, you have to get the patient consent here, and journal required that. And you don't want to get any lawsuit from an angry patient who do not have his or her permission to write this and publish it, right? And also it's very important, you have to, any identifying information should be de-identified. If you are using a picture, you need to make sure that should be de-identified. So then after introduction, you will go to the presenting information, case study. So here you will explain the demographic, age and gender. Question to think, who is your client, and describe him or her in a detail. Concern which has brought the client to you. So this is a raw data and it should be documented in client's own words. Do not include your own impression or interpretation in this section. Record it as the client narrated. That's the key point here. So here is the section you explain everything, why the patient came to you. Complete detail. So history of the condition, you all know this, like a history of present illness, history of past illness, everything, medical history, all that section come under here. So here, for example of patient information, again, I just took the example of low back pain here. It's a 35-year-old female presented with the, so make sure we are not writing the name, we are not writing where the patient is from, nothing. Okay, So it's presented with a low back pain for 6 years duration. Pain limited her endurance capacity for walking, sitting for a long time, driving, and climbing steps. When the patient came to the initial Ayurveda consultation, she reported severe pain through the past week, and the intensity of the pain was rated as 9 to 10 while walking, 6 to 7 while resting, on a 0 to 10 numeric pain scale. So this is very important to measure, like the pain, what patient is told in their own words. Okay. So typically the intensity of the pain increased during early morning, cold weather, walking and sitting for a long time. Laying down reduced the intensity of the pain. Patient tried chiropractic and conventional medicine for the pain, but didn't get much relief. So this is a short description about the patient information. So then we talk about the patient examination. Here also, just the fact, that's what we have to report. Describe how patient was clinically assessed, whatever examination method you have used. Report your outcome measures. As I said earlier, if you are using a specific scale based on the literature, you explain that under here. Or if there is X-ray result or lab work, which you want to explain. So describe briefly in a narrative style about your findings of the examination. This may include sometimes, palpation, auscultation, and observation, and more. It is very important not to render a diagnosis in this section. It's just the patient examination. So we explain the patient history, then the next section is patient examination. So here, and for example, you will say the MRI done 8 months ago, initial visit for Ayurveda indicate reduction in the intervertebral space and herniation of L3, L4 and L5, S1. The intensity of the pain increased during walking and sitting for a long time. And this one, Oswestry Disability Index score. This you get it when you do the literature search about lower back pain. That's where you find, okay, this is the scale. It's a questionnaire actually. You can ask this question to the patient when the patient comes for first time. So that's what 51%. It will, that document, it's a free document. It is available. Everybody can use it. It will give you an answer, what percentage the disability patient has because of the pain. Okay. And then visual analog scale is another one. It administered during the initial visit and 6 week. Low back pain was rated from 9 to 10 while walking, 6 to 7. So now we have a clear number before administering Ayurveda. How was the patient condition from patient's own words, as well as using this scale, and you find the value. And now you will administer the medicine, and then you are going to measure the changes, and you are just reporting it. That's what's happening here. So let's look at. So now after explaining the examination and using the outcome measure, now you're going to write about Ayurvedic assessment and diagnosis. So here you can use like constitutional analysis, etiopathology imbalance, all the other component of Ayurvedic assessment, including pulse exam, tongue exam, eye, nail, everything you can include here. And state and describe your Ayurvedic diagnosis. And if the patient is already coming to you based on a conventional medicine diagnosis, you can explain that as well. Patient was diagnosed with some disease. So if it is already there, you can explain as well. And make a correlation between two if possible. It's not that you must have it, but you should explain the reason why you are coming up with the diagnosis. That's very important. Why did you come up with this diagnosis? Okay. So then based on that, you're going to explain the treatment plan. Treatment plan should be a narrative of Ayurvedic protocol, not step by. So in this section, you're not going to explain what treatment you have given. It is only, okay, if it is lower back pain, why you are choosing this specific treatment. It is based on the treatment plan explained in the Charaka Samhita. You can, so that is it. With the reference, you have to explain that. Now, again, this one also fact, you are not adding anything with your own words here. Whatever is there in the literature, you are translating it here. So example of a treatment, simple one. Ayurvedic treatment principle include local oil application therapy and sedation therapy with a specific herbal oil, along with the internal administration of the herbs, diet recommendation, yoga, which help to reduce the pain, improve the mobility, and reduce inflammatory toxin. This is the treatment plan explained. And it can be changed a little more in Sanskrit. And if you're submitting for an Ayurvedic journal, you can change it. It doesn't have to be like this kind of generalized statement. But this was for an integrative medicine journal. That's why it has written like, so that the readers can understand the concept. Now you are going to explain the treatment. Based on the treatment plan, what treatment are you giving? So detailed explanation about the treatment should be given, herb's name, dose, and frequency. If any therapy is given, detailed explanation of that therapy is also can be explained here. So for example, patient was recommended an Ayurvedic therapy called Kadi Basti for 45 minutes once a week for 6 weeks. The frequency is important because it's after reading the case report, if somebody want to implement it, that person should know how long the treatment is done during each visit, for how many days it is done. So the frequency is very important. Once a week for 6 weeks, 45 minutes treatment was given. And traditional Ayurvedic herbal oil, what you have used to do the therapy, that is also very important. And if you're going to explain about the herbs, I just put one example. You have to talk about the medicine name and the gram, and then how many pills, how many times, with what, for how long. That information also. So everything should be detailed, so other readers can implement this thing into their practice. That's why as much as detailed information about each steps you have done while treating that patient should be explained under the treatment section. Then follow-up visit. In follow-up visit, you don't have to write every visit in a very detail. You can also determine if you want to use them outcome measure like baseline when the patient came for first time, and then after 30 days, in between, even if the patient comes and if you have not made any major change, you don't have to explain anything. But then the 30 days change, and then after maybe if you within 2 months, if the patient is really felt better, at the end of the treatment, what you have done, you can explain. And in between, you can say that patient continued the same medicine with everything it is same. You just explain that in the report. Then after that, you're going to explain the result section. Report the outcome of care using your outcome measures and other pertinent endpoint. And sometimes, result section is easier if you have the table or the figures that readers can easily follow through it. So this section presents the result of the study, but should not attempt to interpret the meaning. So you don't again explain anything, why the result came. That doesn't go under result. Result section is only just to explain the result. After you gave the X medicine, what changes you are seeing. That's it under the result. Okay. So for example, the low back pain was relieved over a 6-week period with the Ayurvedic protocol. At the end of the 4th week, the patient reported pain rated 3 to 4 out of 10, right? Before it was 8 something, right? So now it is 3 to 4 while walking, and 0 to 2 out of 10. So here you can see the change before starting the Ayurvedic treatment, and now there is a huge difference in the pain here. And so you have to say, how do you measure it? Using a VAS scale, visual analog scale. And at the end of the 6th week, pain was again rated 0 to 2 while walking, and no pain while resting. And I mentioned this scale, Oswestry Disability Index score. We administered that in the beginning. It was about 50% something. Okay. And now after the treatment, it's only showing 28% at the 6th week. And 28% means it's minimal disability. The first one was severe disability. So you can see clearly, okay, after the medicine, after the 6th week, there are a lot of changes happening in this patient. So patient also reported that overall quality of life improved since starting the Ayurvedic intervention. At the end of the 6th week, all functional activities such as walking, sitting, traveling, everything is improved. No adverse events were reported. So there was no side effect reported by the patient. This give a lot of validation for our science. You may see that it is very simple. We don't have to spend thousands of dollars to do this type of research. You all can play an active role to create the data for Ayurveda profession. And if you imagine that if you all Ayurvedic practitioner, all of us start documenting this, and like, for example, in the past, if you treat some patient with any kind of antiviral property herbs, when the COVID situation happened, we could have had already the evidence, and we could have implemented this into Ayurvedic intervention into the main healthcare practice. That's what China did it. In February, I believe actually Chinese government announced the COVID is a major challenge, and their public sector took the decision. But by March 13th, 25 provinces in the China actually implemented, requested to use traditional Chinese medicine along with conventional medicine for treating COVID, because they had already a lot of research article showing some of this antiviral property of Chinese medicine. And by the end of March, they already started 300 plus clinical trial. Whereas about Ayurveda, we just started now, right? So look at that. If you have evidence, even if it is a single case report showing antiviral property of Bunimba or whatever the herbs we explained in the classical textbook, we revalidate it, and that will give more value for our profession. We all can do it. We don't have to be a researcher to do it. I really want all of you to think about it, because you all are practitioners. So you're not only treating the patient, you are also giving, helping to grow your profession globally, right? That the biggest challenge for Ayurvedic profession nowadays is there is not that much research happening. So discussion part, interpretation of the case. So here is the section where you can use your own explanation. Up to now, whatever the patient is explained, whatever you're examining and finding, but you're not interpreting anything. So here, don't write the result section again. What does this result mean for the practitioner? What does it mean? Why you are seeing these changes? Why the pain is reduced? Maybe Vata is balanced here. Why do you think Vata is balanced? Maybe the herbs have the quality of balancing Vata, or the oil have quality of balancing Vata, or maybe the combination of this diet, herbs, etc. helps to reduce the pain. That is something you're going to explain under the discussion section. So this is only the place in the entire document where your opinions are allowed. So provide a rationale for the treatment technique selected and mechanism of action. Particularly important if the treatment was controversial. So compare the case to the literature already available on the topic. If it is already there, you just compare that particular section here. So the conclusion is the final paragraph. It's a summary of what you have learned from this. For example, the result of this current case study indicate that whole system approach of Ayurvedic medicine may be effective for management of chronic low back pain, especially with the pain and functional activity. A controlled interventional study is needed to evaluate the effectiveness of whole system Ayurvedic approach for management of lower back pain. So what you found after treating this patient with Ayurvedic intervention, and what is that result? And then you are saying that what is the next step? Usually in the conclusion, we will see that, if it is a case report, because case report doesn't give that much information about the effectiveness, right? You're just discussing a case here. So you will say that end with, there is a further larger trial needed with a more patient, and we need to do the detailed evaluation. That's how you write the conclusion section. So do not rehash the case here. Don't repeat everything under conclusion here. And also don't offer a far-reaching and unsubstantiated claim. For example, since the patient improved drastically with the whole system approach of Ayurvedic medicine, it proves that this form of care should be considered first while treating this type of patient. We don't want to make that type of statement. That is something wrong. With the case report, we cannot say that we are going to prove it. Are you getting? So don't make that general statement there under the conclusion section. So here actually by now you completed writing everything. You have complete history. Main section is done by now. So the last part is writing an abstract. So it's considered, it has condensed version of the article. That this particular section, you can take the information from what you have already written. It's easier to summarize something once you know what you are talking about, and that's often it's writing at the last. Usually abstract come at the end. Majority of the journal, you only need 250 or fewer words. Depending on the journal, it changes the number of words. So what does abstract contain? It's a background, purpose or objective statement, and patient information, intervention and outcome, conclusion. Similar like the full article, but you may be writing only 1 or 2 sentences at each section. There are different two types mainly, structured abstract and unstructured abstract. Depending on the journal, it's usually changed, but I usually recommend structured type of abstract. Okay. Let's look at an example. This is one of my recent publication, Integration of Ayurveda and Conventional Medicine on Chronic Wound Healing, a case report publication. Look at it. This is called structured abstract. You have a background here, objective, clinical features, what is this patient about, and intervention and outcome, what kind of Ayurvedic modality or other modality you have used, and how did you measure the change, and what is the result you found, and conclusion. That's it. That include the structured abstract. So then you may be in the initially you might have had some title here, right? But later, once you write everything, you can make sure, does this title really make sense? Do we have to a little bit adjust the title? Because it's very important. Most of the time, people won't read full article. They look at the title and that's what attract the people. Okay, this is something important. So it'll make or break the people reading the article. So title is very important. Words to include the type of patient, condition, and method of treatment and outcome. That's all important here. Avoid overgeneralizing. Don't say that Ayurveda for lower back pain. You have to be specific. Ayurvedic management for lower back pain, a case report. So that or the readers can know, oh, this is a case report publication. Okay. Try to be more specific with the title. And then at the end, you can acknowledge if somebody helped you. Sometimes, if you're not very good in writing, you can get some help from others who are very good in writing. So you have the case, you can team up, and then that person can go under authorship. And if there is not that much big contribution, only somebody help you to doing the literature search, you can mention that person under acknowledgement. So that's a usually seen trend in the journal publication. And then once you write, before I wanted to give you one more guideline here, there is a care guideline. It's developed by an international group of experts to support and increase the accuracy and transparency of usefulness of case report. If you go to this website, detailed explanation about each section, what all are the different points to be included under each section is explained. And most of the journal, when you publish it, they'll ask, did you write the case report based on the guidelines from care guidelines? So this will help your manuscript much more better in shape. Okay, so this is an easier tool. So like integrative medicine, it's an emerging field now, right? Especially in the West, you can see that I think the future of medicine is going to be integrative medicine. It'll be acupuncture or Ayurveda, conventional MD doctors, or it's a team. What we can bring to the patient. It's not that one single modality. How can I make the patient who is sitting in front of me better? Whatever the tool I can use it, as a team we will use it, but the aim is to make the patient feel better. So they don't have much research on the integrative medicine. We don't have whatever in individual healthcare modality, there are a lot of publication. As I said earlier, a lot of publication, you can see Chinese medicine and different disease, a lot of publication on chiropractic care and different disease. But integrative medicine research is not, it's an emerging field again, not that many publication is there. But what they are doing is there are different journal now or different organization just grouping, getting together and making sure that encouraging the integrative medicine practitioner to publish it so that they have evidence. And later, if they want to go and do like bigger funding, NIH grant funding, usually, sometimes $400,000, $500,000, $800,000, sometimes millions of dollar project. And my colleague recently got $2 million project. So those, in order to do that type of research, there should be some kind of evidence. Then only this bigger organization is going to give us some funding. So they are encouraging all these integrative medicine practitioners, just document the case, what they are treating. Documentation is going to give a lot of strength for the profession. So that is what I would encourage. And I think my presentation is done here. Thank you very much. It's 1 hour. Any question?
Indeed, I should tell that this is the first time as a person I am listening to somebody telling something about the research aspect, like how to publish an article. All those things we are seeing in the modern journals, but towards the Ayurvedic part, I think this is the first time somebody is explaining it in a very nice way. It was, I should say, it was short and sweet. Thank you, doctor.
Sure.
We can go to the interactive sessions. Let me check.
Yeah.
Doctor is receiving a lots of comments about like your session was too good.
Thank you. I know maybe sometimes this is first time you are listening. Maybe some of you may feel, okay, I don't have the writing skill, how I will write. Just start writing it, and at the end you can give someone to read through it, and grammatical error, those things can be fixed. But you have the skill of treating the patient. You have a successful case. That's what we needed and documented it. Okay. So, and then once you have that, make sure you have all this, whatever I have explained, you have it with you. Then it is easy for the publication. Collaborative research. Yeah, it's depending on what type. Challenge. If you can, we can find a organization which can fund for the research, then always, of course, we can have a collaborative research. And again, we can be much more specific there, selecting a disease which whatever you are seeing more commonly in UAE, and then whatever the herbs available there, and you can have a simple randomized clinical trial or whole system based type of study to evaluate it. But that is actually like, bigger step. But as an Ayurvedic practitioner, we can involve in this small type of research and still. That is I can share. It's a wound. It's using Ayurveda and conventional medicine for wound care, and it's a case report. I can share it with your team. US. So what I do when for integrative medicine conference and all, I have done a lot of case report actually, because we don't have much funding to do a research on Ayurveda here. So what I do is I still wanted to do something. So if I see any successful case, I try to write it and then present it in a conference. So I have presented like this year, we got the best poster award actually. There was all the different alternative medicine, Chinese medicine, naturopathy, chiropractic care, homeopathy, but the Ayurveda paper got the award actually. What we did is the lower back pain, whole system approach of Ayurveda for management of lower back pain. That was the case report. And also I had a headache case report. So I have done a case report for hypercholesterolemia and osteoarthritis patient, alopecia, hair fall and insomnia. So whatever, if you see that there is a successful case in the past, treating certain medicine with the certain medicine. The next time when that patient come, make sure you have the outcome measures ready. Similar type of cases when it come, make sure that outcome measure ready and make sure the case is complete. That is an important step. That will help a lot actually.
Doctor, there is one query from Dr. Sainab.
Yeah.
How many similar cases of same condition?
Like not all. So if you think that if you're confident about some case treating with Ayurvedic medicine and you find, even if it's for the first time you saw a good result, you can write it. Initially, it may be challenged because you don't have the outcome measure, the validated outcome measures when the patient come for the first time, right? But if you're depending on the blood work report when they come for baseline first time, you can publish that. Like for example, diabetes you are treating and you saw that this particular medicine is very effective for treating diabetes, and there is a blood work report you are using it, and you don't need, you can publish it from there. Measure it in the different level after 3 months and after 6 months, how the value, the number is changing or not. You can, are you clear, Dr. Sainab, right?
Dr. Sainab?
Yes, doctor. Actually, we do have cases related to ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
And after seeing those cases, it has been so chronic. And publishers on the same topic. So that's the reason I wanted to know, okay, how many cases actually we need to have in our hand before we actually think about publishing something.
You don't have to. If you have seen very good result already, maybe next time keep all the outcome measures ready. What all are the, read the article about ulcerative colitis, what others have done. I believe in Ayurveda also there should be a couple of articles published with that topic. So read those articles. That will give you an idea what type of outcome measures you should use to measure the changes. And then when a patient comes, keep it with you and then do this. You can do it. You don't have to have many cases already. You can go ahead and try. I hope that you will publish a case soon.
Let's see. Thank you so much for all the boost up.
Sure. And I will be happy to guide you through, if any of you need any help, I will be happy to guide you through that when you go through that process.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, doctor. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there is a query, doctor. This is from Dr. Tania. Can we include some images for reference?
Not for the reference, usually so, oh, you mean to measure the change maybe, right? Like for example, wound case, we use the picture actually. That's what you are asking, to measure the changes?
Dr. Tania, are you there? Can you specify what it is?
Yeah, definitely you can use it, Dr. Tania. In that case, you can, at the baseline, when a patient came for the first time, maybe if you are presenting a case for skin condition, you can have the picture baseline, and after giving the medicine for 3 months, how it looks like, and after 6 months, how it looks like. You can definitely use it.
Okay, again, there is one more question from
But that is something you can do as well. Like, for example, you want to do a study using Veda Pulse, the technology, because case report, not only just the symptom, you can also use various diagnostic methods and evaluating that also. So you can use that as well. Or even within the case, clinical case, to explain, you can use the Veda Pulse, what was the reading you find it. So that is also fine.
there is a question from our FB Live. It is asked by Sneha Nambiar. Ma'am, you said that we should select the journal beforehand. How do we know about the acceptance factor?
Yeah, so that's why if first you need to find out the journal accept the case report for the publication. If they accept the case report for the publication, you are safest to write, follow the instruction under that. And then once you write it, it's depending upon how well you have written. That's what usually for the journal peer review people always look at, not more about the disease, how well it is this adding more valuable information to the current evidence? So if it is, then the journal should be published. And all there are sometimes not all the journals will act. You may have to work it back and forth multiple times. Don't get discouraged. Even through the peer review process, I had gone through when I published the randomized clinical trial, there are sometimes multiple times you will go back and forth. Reviewers suggest something, maybe you are not interested to make that change, then you will let them know that, oh, I don't want to make change. Sometimes reviewers' comments are really good. It makes your paper much more better quality. So that will happen. Sometimes some journals say that, no, it's not up to the quality, we don't want to publish it. Then don't get discouraged again. Look for another journal. So the publication, it's not overnight is going to happen. It may take time. Sometimes, it may take 7 months to 8 months to publish an article. But that's the process, my request is don't get discouraged. First try it. First aim for higher journal. And if not, then come down a little bit and see. So it's a process. It's a step by step.
One more question from Dr. Sharifa Tasni. What are the common journals to publish the research works?
One of my slide, there are the journal Ayu. I think in Ayurvedic medicine in India, there are two main journals I see. I think I should have it here. Ayu journal is there. And then IAJM. Let me pull up that slide. Actually, there are more than 300 journals now, which is accepting the publication for Ayurvedic medicine article. But yeah, his Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine is another one. And the second one, Ayur Journal, is another one. These are the peer-reviewed. And Ancient Science of Wisdom is also peer-reviewed, but I don't know now. I don't see them on PubMed, but that is also another Ayurvedic journal. And this is a high-impact journal like the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. So there are various. So the easiest step, you can just Google also, to Ayurvedic, peer-reviewed Ayurvedic journal. That will give you, pull up the article about the journals in Ayurveda, Ayurvedic medicine. Make sure, when you write the article, another thing is under the introduction section don't select the information from the magazine. That they won't accept. Look for other research article, other published article in similar type of journal while citing the reference. That is very important part to be remembered. I'm so happy to see that many of you are interested. So how many of you think you will be writing a case report in 1 year, 1 or 2 years? Okay, good. Very good. Let me know if you need any help. Yeah, I will be happy to share the PPT. I can send it to Dr. Rajita. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good to see.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Dr. Anupama, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can
doctor.
hear you, Dr. Shyam. Yeah.
Because I'm still in the drive. I'm just leaving the clinic, but I was listening to you bits and pieces, in between the OP and during my drive. And actually, I don't have to thank you because you're a good friend of mine and a colleague of mine, and she visits my family, back in Dubai or in India whenever she passed by. But on behalf of the Emirates Ayurveda Graduates Association, many thanks. And I'm sure that the EGA members know her already. She's the winner of the Sheikh Said Award this year. And you might have thought, who is this US girl, who came all the way. And though, we have 100 plus doctors, within the country. But I will tell you something, this award was organized by Amina of Lotus. She called me and told me that, why don't you apply for this award? And I asked her, who else is attending, applied for the award. And since I heard her name, I told her, she's the most eligible and I don't want to apply for this. And so, no, truly speaking, she's eligible for this award. And congrats, and from all of us, for winning this. And thank you for, sharing your wisdom and information. And to the other IGA members, though I'm not an expert into publishing journals, I'm in the editorial board for the International Journal for Ayurveda and Traditional Medicine, published from the National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. So if you need any help, a push from my side to have something published, I can always help you out. And Dr. Anupama, please share your contact details, for our members. And
Sure.
see, I'm sure that, you can guide or probably, co-write some journals, together with you, if some of the members, like to do that, right? Please support us. Yeah.
Oh, sure, sure. Thank you,
Right.
Dr. Sham. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
very much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed actually interacting with all of you. When I selected this topic, I was not sure how many of you will be interested because it's very different from what you had so far. But this is my passion. I really wanted to see more research happening in the field of Ayurveda. And you guys are also doing a lot of great work. In UAE, I know Ayurveda is already a licensed healthcare, and I think more than 200 licensed Ayurvedic doctors are already there. It's not easy task to practice Ayurvedic medicine in India. It's easier, but when you go out of country and convince the government official, convince the public, and bring the awareness of Ayurveda in UAE, may be a little different because majority of the population is Indian, but still it is something really, it's a challenging. And that you all Ayurvedic leaders there are doing it. So that's something really remarkable. And I really want to congratulate each one of you in taking that active role in propagating this science, in UAE. And my dream is, to bring Ayurveda into mainstream of practice in US, in educational level, clinical practice and research. And we Ayurvedic practitioners, we are so blessed, this science is very potential. This science has so much potential to help the people, right? This, even though it is a thousands of year old science, so much information, we can help our public, we can help our people with this knowledge. The people really waiting for the information, they want to look at the different way of approach to the disease management as well as health promotion. And we have to talk about it. Ayurveda is still in a primitive stage when it go out of country, right? For globalization of Ayurveda, I think every practitioner have to play a role. We need to talk, we need to showcase our science about the effectiveness and efficiency of the herbs or various modalities explained in this. So we have to come forward, whatever media we can use it. I request all of you, like there are so many Ayurvedic doctors, give a presentation in different place. We all have, I wanted to share where I started my journey. I didn't have a very good English skill. Like I studied in Malayalam, and my writing skill also, I didn't have a great writing skill. I didn't know how to write the research article, but I had a passion and I tried to learn it I'm still learning. So I think having that passion and positive approach really helped me a lot. And that I would like to share that with you. Never stop, don't stop you guys in doing things what you really want to do. Do it wholeheartedly and work hard. Nobody is perfect here. We may make a mistake, but we learn out of the mistake and we move forward. And always keep in mind to learn. Education, it never stops. Whatever the opportunity, even if it is from my students, if I have to learn something, I'm still open for it. So keep the mind open for learning, and that really going to help. And I'm sure we all will hold our hands together when it comes to the globalization of Ayurveda. We all will unite together and spread this wisdom of science. And that is actually my dream too. And thank you very much for Iga for providing this opportunity. I really enjoyed, and I'm wishing all of you all the best. And thank you and namaste.
This is another beauty of, Dr. Anupama. Her words reflect, the passion and enthusiasm and fire and love for Ayurveda. Thank you once again. Yeah. Pitta for Ayurveda, or the Rajasic qualities for Ayurveda. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, Doctor. Just a moment. Many of them are asking for the contact details as well as the email ID.
Yeah.
So if doctor is sharing it right now, I think many of them are not there among our contacts. There are somebody outside our contacts also.
I will write here.
Yes.
And if any of you are interested in writing case report, whatever the help you want, please let me know. I'll be happy to guide you through it.
The words are really inspiring. I hope many of them will be contacting you soon. Thank you, doctor. Thanks.